My son turned 4 on Friday, and the endless celebration in honor of my lucky number 3 is still plowing forward. I puked last night for housing a bottle of bourbon in a 2 nights flat. But I can't be too hard on myself because the last time I yacked was the weekend I got my wife pregnant with Samuel. So, puking my brains out, I'm being orderly about it once every 4 years isn't like Charles Bukowski territory just yet. I wouldn't say that I'm a complete out of control Southern hick because my mom does hail from Kentucky originally, which explains my crazy hick degenerate side, which I'm aware of, and that's why I don't keep bourbon in the house. And these days, I'll limit it to my children's birthdays. Growing up, my mom would say, "Son, Kentucky is known for two things: horses and pretty women." And then I'd say at the time, "Mom, keep your sundress on before you tell me that Dad is hung like Seabiscuit." One of my first jokes that I did during my first set of open mic comedy ever in Southern California, I don't remember the name of the place. It was this. My mom is from Kentucky, where finger food is anything that tastes like your cousin's panties. Holla! Thank you very much! For any of you longtime fans, my booming voice is a tad measured right now because my wife is repainting our kitchen. It's been an ongoing project all day. Obviously, today is Valentine's Day, and in honor of it being Valentine's Day, I'm taking a day off from Adderall. Not that I need Adderall to be super energetic, but the point being is I'm not going for the complete rollicking, in your face, bombastic podcast that I tend to deliver. I like to offer you some nuance. And I was really enjoying the bourbon. But then I had this flashback to high school, which was beer before liquor, never been sicker. And I had these two really good beers prior. One was an IPA, and another one was a double IPA. The IPA was better, and it was from a brewery that I learned about in Long Island, in Oceanside. So, and I have a relationship with the beer guys at the Chicos. I like to get laughs from them because their humor definitely veers towards, dark Bitterland, which I like because as a whole, any member of Gen X who I care about hanging out with prefer their comedy like their coffee, dark and bitter. So, and I'm mentioning dark and bitter because I started watching that documentary on Kurt Cobain, a montage of heck, and that's gotten me down the conspiracy lane rabbit hole again. I really don't want to believe that Courtney Love had him murdered because I love the album Live Through This because it brings me unmatched joy to think of the time when we had a boxing bag downstairs connected to the chain and I'd blare it on the Bose and I would hit that bag with hardcore shemale rocker rage as I heard Courtney Blair. I made my bed, I'll die in it. And I broke that chain on that bag at least 3 times. And for the most part, whole Live Through This was my soundtrack. That was my new Rocky. So, but, and I just went down this rabbit hole because I like to read movie reviews or a TV review once in a while. If I don't know how I feel about a documentary, and I like to get some different points of view, and then from there I'll take my deep dive into expressing my own opinions on it. And but apparently Kurt Cobain was offered like $8 million for Lollapalooza, and he refused to do it because he didn't want to give another penny to Courtney, because at that point he was intent on divorcing her, cutting out of the will, which means she would get bupkis. So some would say that that definitely gives her some motive and intent. But I really don't want to turn this into a conspiracy theorist podcast. Although, again, the CIA came up with that theory, conspiracy theorists, to shame people into not questioning prescribed narratives forced on by the media, saying, believe in this or else you're a crack pot jerk off that doesn't deserve employment ever again. So I don't really care about that label at this stage of my life. But back to the Chicos. So I'm at the Chicos, and I got this beer from Long Island, from Oceanside, and it was delicious. It was really good. And I said, "Oh, Long Island, yet the country." That reminds me, I just learned about how Jerry Seinfeld sold one of his Porsches for charity again for about $2 million. I just hope half those proceeds went to Larry's kids. And the beer sales guy at the Chicos laughed a long time. Prior, I was getting my son a haircut, which was nice. That was Arthur. That's big bro. And he looks like $1 million. And we got some balloons for his baby brother. And then I decided, you know what? I want to go to, there's this really cool used bookstore in Peekskill. It's off the Hudson River. It's northern Westchester, kind of. And I go to the bookstore and I got John Lennon's Greatest Hits. The CD was like $4. And I got it mainly so I could like practice John Lennon material when I was there. And I said that it was my son's birthday. He just turned 4. And I said that ever since he's been born, I've written 4 books, recorded 1 comedy CD, and I've done 400 plus podcasts. And then I added, John Lennon wishes he was this productive during his stay-at-home dad years. And then I made a joke about how much John Lennon resented Paul McCartney for shaming him into becoming a stay-at-home dad after he was a total bust with his first kid. I'm referencing to the song Hey Jude that Paul McCartney wrote in honor of his first song, in honor of John Lennon's first kid that he had nothing to do with. And I could totally picture John Lennon, pushing his second son. I think it's Julian. I always mix up the names. But he's pushing him along Central Park. It's like his first week being a stay-at-home dad. And literally, like, 1 weekend, 2 minutes into the stroll, giving Yoko a rest, John Lennon starts cursing out loud to himself and says, "Choke on a fucking cucumber scone, Paul." All the primal scream therapy in the world isn't helping. So as I wrap up my son's birthday weekend celebration, although it's been very comical how his big brother constantly points out the fact it's no longer your birthday. Your birthday's only one day. But Daddy is definitely into protracting birthday celebrations or Hanukkah celebrations as much as humanly possible. Because, like I've stated before, each of my children's birthday is my birthday too. Because it does celebrate, me becoming a born-again, newborn dad. And it gives me an opportunity to do better than before. So with that said, it's time to read. I gotta stop saying that. Time to perform a mini short story that I wrote in honor of my lucky number 3, Samuel Teddy Kornbluth, and it's called The Flipper Baby Side. On February 12th, Samuel Chosen Curls was bound to woo was born, compared to his grandmother, Mimi, who was born on February 13th, which finally offered undeniable, certifiable proof that God wasn't picking on Doodle Dad's wife anymore. February 12th is also Abe Lincoln's birthday, which held special significance within the Kornbluth family, especially on the southern side, where Doodle Dad's mom hailed from, because their great 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 grandfather, Austin Goller, saved his boyhood friend Abe Lincoln from drowning, which is the greatest presidential save since JFK kept Maryland warm for Bobby. The worst part about the story is how after Abe tripped on a log cabin while crossing Knob Creek in a rush to get home on time for raccoon soup night, he pressured his dear friend Austin to never tell anyone about saving him from drowning to death, because he had a vision while gasping for air within the limestone-laced waters of Kentucky, how one day he'd be the man responsible for helping liberate the black man from the chains of slavery, and he wouldn't be looked upon as a serious saver ever, knowing he was a worse swimmer than they. One time, Doodle Dad held an astrology off among his 3 kids after Chosen Curls was born, between his older brother and big sister, that being Archer USA and Matilda Singin' Rose Kornbluth. And during this astrology off, they would compare famous men and women born on their birthdays. Chosen Curls was bound to woo, had Abe Lincoln on his list, and Arsenio Hall from Coming to America. Matilda's other younger brother, Archer USA, otherwise known as Number 1 Capricorn, born on New Year's Day, had Mini-Me and Paul Revere on his list. And all Singin' Rose had was Peter Sarsgaard, prompting her to blurt out in progressively pissed off disgust, "I don't like this astrology off anymore. Nobody I love like Shakira or Mel Brooks was born on my birthday." Doodle Dad gives her added unwelcome grief and says, "Pisces are very competitive." Holla! Thank you very much. Now Chosen Curls was stuck in the wrong way within his mama's womb, with his feet facing down toward his exit hole. Normally, breech babies who were positioned to be yanked out of their mama's fun box feet first are either flipped by a doctor to be pushed out head first, or excavated from the womb through a stomach lacerating C-section, which most women would prefer to avoid, because if you've seen one alien movie, you've seen enough. Chosen Curls was chilling in the womb for 9 months in the wrong way, with his toes tingling with delight, closer to mama's vagina versus the other way around, which he didn't mind one bit, knowing he had great looking inhalatory baby feet, which looked better than most gross bald baby heads to come out crying out of most vaginas, not nearly as snugly as this. That being mama's fun hole box. Mama's womb housing vagina was so snuggly, Chosen Curls could take endless naps in there on crystal meth. Also, Chosen Curls liked being a wrong way baby because it would give him bragging rights one day, when he eventually performed his first reverse somersault in the womb, knowing his Doodle Dad was a knock-knee putz who got penalized in gym class back in the day for toppling over to the side whenever he tried to sit Indian style while sitting out another game of kickball on the sidelines, for getting eliminated almost immediately again. At the same time, Chosen Curls didn't want his mama's stomach ripped apart, because he refused to flip for her love out of blatantly premature spite for mama, never encouraging his WWE wrestling career soon after, in his pursuit to become the dreamy child offspring of Andre the Giant and Bruce Lee while being billed as hardcore hurting hunger. Now it was showtime. Mama was ready to burst. And this birth wasn't a walk in the park compared to his older brother Art Show USA, who popped open easier than a tin of Altoids in 1 hour flat. The nurse encouraged Mama to push, yet Chosen Curls was taking his sweet-ass time to transform himself into a real deal, choke-free flipper baby after all. Then, Chosen Curls heard his do-it-all dad's booming voice, more so than usual, pierce through Mama's cervix as he barked, "You can do it, Samuel! If Ronnie could do the triple lending and back to school, then you could flip for Mama's love." 2. Knowing she remained freak-out free from giving up wine for 9 months straight again on your behalf. Also, Mama's vagina is fairly broken in at this point, 2 kids later, and in addition to my Hebrew hammer, leaving a substantial dent prior. So let's get moving before Mama flips you, the bird, and curses your existence forever for you denying her the beauty of being yanked out into her arms in one semi-seamless motion versus the alien stomach mauling coming out birth. Pretty please with extra booger sugar for Uncle John, aka Sir Snortalot, on top. As the delivery doctor grabs Samuel's head from outside Mama's belly, Chosen Curls performs a seamless reverse baby flip to show his dada he wasn't born to be a tense baby like a pubescent Albert Brooks in the making in Defending Your Life, only for him to grow up to be a perpetually wound up stress ball on 2 legs with decades of fear-plagued tension embedded within his frozen-in-time neck. Do-it-all dad spots his son's head emerge from Mama's blessed box, flush with endless life-enriching charms, and cranks up the volume, blaring, "Home stretch, Samuel, one more push. And made in the shade will be made in the shade. Now slide out of Mama's snuggle snatch hard, Ricky Henderson style. What Gen X dads understand. Holla! Thank you very much!" Doc pulls Samuel out this time, who emerges into this wildly unpredictable, God-graced, awe-inspiring, beautifying world. A full set of hair, which puts Do-It-All Dad at immediate ease, knowing bald babies with indentations on their heads are gross, all looking like Nurse Jackie dropped down on top of an anvil after getting the shakes because she's out of methadone again. Warren Zevon lives forevermore throughout the Do It All Dad Year podcast. Long time, all the time. Holla! Thank you very much! The nurse hands Chosen Curls to his dear dada to hold tightly to his heart, with his back turned toward Mama, as he starts bonding with his lucky number 3, saying, "Your big sister, singing Rose, recognized my voice out of the womb too. I've been in love with you since you were a blip of an alien baby on Mama's ultrasound photograph report. Your brother and sister are the coolest. They're going to love you so good." Eventually, Mama interjects and says, "You weren't housing Samuel for the past 9 months. I was. So can you stop boxing me out for my baby and turn around so I can see the face of my beautiful baby already?" Do-It-All Dad turns around and says, "You handled that well, babe." I got carried away hearing my own voice again. At least for now, we know it has a calming influence, unlike a 10-year marriage, which is bound to unleash anybody's flip outside. The end. This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast. Dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. What Gen X dads understand. Controlling our kids' economy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids, 99.9% of the time, are living proof of it. Happy Valentine's Day. for all my longtime lovers of this podcast, and happy Valentine's Day for any longtime lovers of my WordPress blog. And thank you for giving me the strengthened resolve to keep on pushing on through to the other side, where only the true funny man comedy giants roam. And I'll talk to you guys soon.